Well, we're here. Part 46 and the very last video I'll be doing on Death End Request 2. I'm surprised I got here this soon, but all we've got left to show is everything in the bonus menu. The characters, the image gallery, the sound test, because there is a sound test in this game. And then I'll just rerun the credits as I give my final thoughts. It's kind of weird, it is. Like, of all the projects I've done, this has been the first project in a while that I've just been giddy for every single video. Like, it's not like I woke up today, like, time to get back to it, start recording. No, I have been so fucking eager to get back to this game every single time I've woke up. Or the thing, every time I'm on it, when I'm not playing Genshin, I'm on this. I've been recording and doing bits and pieces. The fact that it's all done is weird. Especially because, think about it, right? Let's go to the tail end of August. This game came out in the West August the 28th. Well, it came out in the UK August the 28th, but I got it early on the 26th. It's just how it worked out. I did my whole blind playthrough, the whole New Game Plus playthrough, and then about 2 days afterwards, like after I finished my New Game Plus playthrough and was prepared to put it down and go do other stuff before I came back to it, was when we got the announcement that more stuff's coming to Devil May Cry, so that was going to be my next project. That had to be put to one side again, because I was like, well, there's more stuff coming for it, so it'll come later on. So I went back to Death End 2, and did an entire fresh playthrough, but it was my third run of the game. Then did the pain area again, and then just to record all the stuff you saw in the previous video, I did an entire fourth run of the game. That's why it's kind of all over the place, because I literally did a fourth run of the entire story just to show you the extra bits and pieces and scenes. The only thing I didn't do was show you the alternate scenes when you send out that message that Sheena gets you to do, sending it out to the other teammates, but that's just because it's 3 chapters worth of content you have to go through to see 1 or 2 extra scenes per character, and I just wasn't prepared to do that. I don't want to end up hating this game. I love it. This is up there as one of my games of the year. If it wasn't for the 7 remake, it would take it easily. In fact, it's still debatable for me. I just need to go through the 7 remake again, because that game is hype as fuck. But this game is just beautiful. I love it so much, and to be able to go through it and go through this journey again, I'm never going to turn down an excuse to not. This game has cemented itself as a classic to me, and I will always hold that dear. What I might do though when I get my PS5 is do another run through just to see performance differences, but like, that's it. I'm kind of done with this. I'm going to have to kind of put it to the side, which is even more difficult when you consider that Death End 1, and to an extent this game as well, have kind of been the backbone of my channel recently. When I started Death End 1, that game quickly, and still is, the most popular Let's Play I've done on the channel. It's the one that gets the most views and still regularly has people going to it according to the data I get from YouTube. And that means a lot. It means a lot that anyone watches any of my stuff. I always love that anyone gives me the time of day, because I'm not expecting it. Like, I'm just some dude amongst a sea of other some dudes chatting about video games. If you come and pick me particularly to come watch, I appreciate it. Especially because I haven't got the same equipment as a lot of the other shots have, or the same talent as editing as others have. But I do what I can, even if I stutter and swear a bit too much. But what can you do? But a lot of people made it, and Death End 2 equally, like video 1, it was within an hour it had like 15 views, and I was like, oh, it's happening again. This entire project's done super well as well, and I can't be more grateful for it. And it's like, Death End is such a quintessential part of this channel for me now, and I'm gonna be talking about it more. I'm gonna be doing more videos around it at some point, because I feel like I need to, and even if I didn't need to, I want to. I think what will be the real hassle is, as I alluded to, there's definitely going to be a Death End 3. There's no way there isn't. When Death End 3 eventually comes out, and I do my playthrough of it, and I do a Let's Play, and cover any extra material, yada yada, reaching the end of that one will be a weird moment for the channel, I think, as a whole. I think that would be a hard one for me on a personal level to process, because of how significant this series has become to my channel. Letting it go when it's over, it'll be a bit like, oh. And I'm sure there'll be other stuff that will be like people will watch or people will enjoy, and other stuff that's a bit and so on, and I'll find other things I love as it goes on. But Death End will always have a piece for getting my channel out there, because it really felt like it did, and I will always be grateful for it. Well, you see why I noticed the cut there. I changed the music so it wasn't just one track for the whole lot as I go through all the character portraits. I like how they have Sanae Toyama normal in here as well, which is just sweet. It's a shame that you don't get to like any real scenes of her being just her. You only really see her in the game and the ceremony at the end where she's all torn up, and you get like a slight scene of her in some orphanage off in the distance that's getting paid for silently by Mai, but that's about it. But remember all the kids we had today. We had Vina the bully, Molly Pagan, the used to getting things her own way extra trouble child, Pick Holly, the one who was a bit of a rough around the edges bully but desperately tried to redeem herself afterwards even if she didn't know how, Betty, the oldest going orphan at the orphanage and the most devoted to the Elstrain, Abigail, the RA, even if she is a little bit of an airhead, she has a heart of gold, Sarah, spelt with a C, her second in command, a little rough around the edges but is an absolute sweetheart once you get to know her, Sarah with an S, I think the youngest, one of the youngest, really shy and kind of goofy, but once she opens up, she's lovely. And the quietest kid of the lot, writes all her thoughts down. She has an open mind. Marie's Marie. Marie's not that memorable, let's be honest. Mary, the tsundere, and is actually an enjoyable tsundere, even if it's a little cheesy at times. It's always nice to have that kind of character trait. Treading on eggshells, well that's Charlie for you. She has an awful habit of speaking before she thinks, and it often gets her in trouble. Makoto, an occult enthusiast, and also someone who likes to take responsibility for far more than she needs to. Victoria, the biggest airhead in the planet, has a crush on older women. Chitsuba Ideen, poor Chitsuba, absolute yandere simulator over here, but deeply loves Victoria for better or worse. Christina, this little conniving shit. No, she's lovely when you get to play on a middle ground turn. Paula, not the sharpest. Colette, a very collected young lady, but has a fascination with technology in the future. Elizabeth Paris, despite her class making her seem quite bossy and snide, she does have a good soul underneath. It just needs to be found, usually by her closest friend Mercy, who honours and loves Elizabeth like nothing else. And that's all of them. That's all the kids. I like the kids. I gotta be honest. Like, the extra orphans, they didn't need to add these 24 odd side characters of kids that you have these random cutscenes to that ultimately, outside of like a couple instances, don't lead to anything. But I'm glad they did, because it does so much more for world building and character building. Because the other characters, the characters you do care about, or likely to care about, Mai, Rotti, and Liliana, constantly bounce off those kids. And so you get to have this dynamic between them where you get to learn all the characters. Also, you get the gallery of Mai and her, and the other characters in all of their alternate costumes in the sprites and whatnot, which is like, I like the fact that you get present day, but Nightgown and Ballet, I'm a bit of a raised eyebrow on, gotta be honest. Same with Rotti. But I love their present day costumes. I said it in the ending, but I say it again. I adore the modern look that they all get. I like Liliana's too, with the big boots. Like, they just all look cool. Fucking. So this is why I'm going to record the extra scenes of Rin, because otherwise that would make no sense to you. And although you've seen them all before, I show off the entire event gallery, so if you're following along, you can make sure you have indeed 100%ed it. Even though it does tell you in the top right if you have seen every single thing. But that being said, after this I go to like some of my favourite tracks in the soundtrack, so I want to take an opportunity to talk about something else minor before we get to the credits, and that is that there is a track that never plays in this game, and it's not in the soundtrack in-game either, but it does come with the official soundtrack disc that comes with the collector's edition of this game. It's a short 1.5-minute track, and I'm going to put it in either the description or the comments, so don't worry, it'll definitely be available at some point. And it's a really high energy, cool track. That's over way too short. But then that's what's new with Death End tracks, with them being really cool, but just they end after like a minute and a half, 2 minutes max. But it is a really cool high energy track, and it's a shame it never played in this game, because the whole time I was building up to its release, I had heard that track because it actually played in the reveal teaser for this game. And it just never got a place. It's never anywhere. Or at least if it is, despite now doing 4 playthroughs and skimming and scanning every detail, I never found it, and it's not in the sound test, and oh look, it says completion 100%. And this has every single track you can hear in the game, plus a couple extras. And the reason why I say that is because there's like 2 or 3 tracks which I swear never play, but they added it in here anyway. Not that I'm complaining. It's all like the Death End 1 music, because the second half of this soundtrack is all returning music from Death End 1. But I just found it very interesting that one of the better tracks in the game goes unused. It's not in this game whatsoever, and I'm curious to see if they'll instead use it for Death End 3. Which I'd like to, because it'd be a real shame if it ends up going completely unused. But here, starting from Ark of the Unknown, it's all Death End 1 tracks. Which, I'm going to be honest, despite the fact Death End 1 isn't that old of a game, it's like 18 months old now, listening to any of Death End 1's soundtrack makes me feel oddly nostalgic. It's got a weirdly nostalgic feel to it. Like City of Illusion, The Day the World Ended, like Alice in Waterland, like all of those tracks, Electric Fairy's Dream, all of them are so weirdly nostalgic to me, and I just love them. And it's got the first game's final boss theme and the first game's normal battle theme, so if you want to, you can compare. But see what I mean with the comparison between the 2 openings, where they mirror each other in their structure. But that's it. That's literally everything there is to show and talk about in Death End Request 2. It's been a fun journey. It really has. I can say, next to Death End 1, next to Neptunia, this has been one of the best and most enjoyable projects I've ever done personally. I adored going through this. I adored recording it. I adored editing it. I just had so much fun doing this game. And what a perfect way to like kind of send off this year of JRPGs. Also, there's a voice for Whip Spider, and I'm like, what? What have I missed? And it's not, obviously it's not, I make out like it's bigger than it is. It's just, this is likely to be the last Let's Play I'll be doing this year. I'll be coming back again in full swing next year. It's just work for me, it's like my real life is going to get super busy starting December 1st. And so for that reason alone, I don't want to have any projects bleeding over. So having this wrap up now, it's very likely there won't be another Let's Play until January. So that's just a warning now. I'm sure, knowing future me, I'll get impatient, and despite working my ass off and knackering myself out, I'll still go out of my way to try and squeeze something out because I'll want to do something. But as it stands right now, I'm not doing anything after this. I'll just be casually playing. You'll obviously see the odd video from me, because I always like doing the odd videos. But in terms of actual Let's Play stuff, no, this is likely to be it for the year. And to be fair, it's not been a bad year. The games we've covered, I'm more than happy with what we've covered. And I can't wait to see what we do next year. I can't wait to do DMC, Evil Within 2, because that's been on the list for it forever, and I should really get on it. If the Tomb Raider Ultimate Experience actually ends up being a thing and comes out, that's going to add a crap load of extra projects I want to do. There's Castlevania, there's Bloodstained. There's other JRPGs as well that I want to get into or want to try that might end up on the list, but we'll see. And if cutscenes, things and moments or cutscenes that are blocked on the PS4's record go unblocked when on backwards compatibility off PS5, which I still don't know if it is. I've got a hunch it probably won't be, knowing my luck, but if it is, the door is open for us to cover some games that I've wanted to cover for a long time. I might actually finally cover Tales of Berseria. I might actually cover Persona, a Persona game. Besides, we've even got stuff next year that's yet to come out, like Nocturne HD. Assuming they don't block any scenes for that, that's going on the list almost immediately for us to do. And with my live streaming, as soon as Ren Dystopia comes out in the West, I'll be straight on that, because I had so much fun with that earlier in the year. Content will still carry on. It just might not be an Idea Factory game next year. Depending on what they release, on what they're doing, we might not see, from me, another Idea Factory game. Which is going to be odd, because of the 5 years I've been doing Let's Plays, the Idea Factory projects have been the most significant. Not only to me, but this channel. And so kind of involuntarily moving away from them just because I've done all the ones I care about is going to be weird going into next year. And if I'm going to be honest, don't be surprised if next year as a whole ends up being a little slower when it comes in terms of content from me. Obviously I'll try not to let it be that bad and let it be too slow, but just I'm putting that warning out there right now because I've got ideas and I've got a lot of things I want to do, but it's just putting them in motion, seeing what's going to happen. I'm going to be 22 next year, so it's like just the nature of my life, things are starting to change and it's not getting as convenient for me to sit down and do these recordings. I'm never going to stop. As long as I can help it, I want to keep doing this because I love doing this. It's such an enjoyable hobby for me and I always like coming back for it. But that's all I can say, really. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. God bless and all the rest. You guys take care now. Peace. And thank you for joining me on Death End Request 2. One of the best games I've ever played.